Hi fellow enthusiasts, welcome to my channel. Let's go into today's video and we're going to come back at the end to wrap it up. We created a very simple chat application that allows people to interact using a server sent event. We created our own database called repo text, and all our texts or messages go to that repository, and from there we retrieve it just as if it was our database. And so when you send a message, say hello here, and we see the response from the other end, hi. So in the recent episode, we added time to show when the message was delivered. We also added sounds to alert the user that the message was sent, and also when a new message was received. For that, we created two distinct sounds to distinguish, of course, when it was sent and when it was a received message. Now, you might be in a meeting or in a setting where you don't want to hear the sound. One way to stop that or to prevent that was to mute the speaker sound from either your phone or your computer, but you can also choose to mute the application. So in this case, we're going to create the ability to mute the sound. So we're going to put an icon right here at the top of this message screen. We're going to put an icon there that you can click to mute the sound, and you can click it again to unmute the sound if you want to hear the sound again. We've created the code, so let's just go and look at it. So in our JavaScript, we have a function here that we called toggle speaker, and for that we had a variable here called toggle, and we say it is false, and we say if toggle is true, the speaker icon, so this underscore here is get element by ID. So get element by ID, and the ID here is speaker. So let's just show that right here in our HTML index.php page. We have an ID for speaker. So when we get this ID, JavaScript, when we get that, the source for the image there is unmuted speaker.png. That means that in our file here, in our XAMPP folder within the htdocs and admin chat, we had to have those images, those imgs. So speaker is muted, we have this png there, and speaker unmuted speaker, we have this png. So download that, get it from a free stock, and then put it over here. And then we are saying that the image source will be unmuted if toggle is true. And then we say we have another variable which is muted equals to false. We declare this as false, our boolean, and here we say muted is false. Why? If the image shows unmuted speaker.png, then muted is false. Else, if the image shows muted speaker, then speaker is muted. You can do this in different ways, but what we achieved here was that when we play the sound, then remember we have it two sections where we play the sound here. We then just added this logic, an if condition, to say if the sound, if muted is false, then play sound. You can say else, but there's no point. You can say else, don't play sound. So that's that. And then on this side too, if muted is false, then play sound. This sound was already playing before. We just put a condition to say if it is false, then play sound, else it won't play the sound. So this is the change we made here. And then we also added another modification, because we had to put the images on the top view of the chart. So in our JavaScript here, in our index.php, at the top section, we created two more divs there. One div is for the title that writes whatever it was before, and then we have another div which is just the image div that has the ID of speaker. The title has the ID of title. And for this, we go to our style, and in the style for title, we give it a flex I can let's try 5 actually. Flex of 5, and then for the so it doesn't really matter here. Let's see. We have 2 of them, so title and then speaker, and let's see if we add flex over here. All right, so save that, and we're gonna go to the JavaScript, and all right, so I think there's no more changes required on the JavaScript here. So we just define the size of the image, and we did that in the style. Did we have it in the style? The speaker image. All right, the speaker image, we defined it to be 20 pixels by 20 pixels. So the class for the speaker image is used here. So let's see how we use that. So the class is the speaker image. All right, so maybe we can put the flex within the speaker image, so we don't have to have it here. Why not? So let's do that. Style. All right, so for this we're gonna go back and just go to our localhost admin chat, and we're gonna log in as admin. All right, so the image is right here. It's stretched out a little bit, so we probably have to tweak the flex a little bit to see how it fits very well. Let's tweak this flex. For the title, we had 12 before. Let's put it back to 12 and see if it improves. So admin. All right, it improves very well. This is because of the size of the image there. So now when I send a message, hello, have a sound. All right, all right, let's send a message. All right, then let's mute it and see what happens. Alright, we're just going to hear the delivered sound but not the sent sound. This is awesome. So let's test this extensively using 2 browsers. One is the Edge and the other is the Chrome. Hello Chrome. How are you, Edge? Alright. Now we can mute the sounds for one and not the other. So let's mute the sound for this. So the sent sound will not be played. So the receive sound played, but the send sound didn't play. Now let's send this. So in this case, the send sound will play, but the receive sound will not play. Alright, now I can mute both of them by clicking this button here, and now I've succeeded in muting them in both browsers. I can unmute individually and just test my application. I'm gonna mute this one too and then send another one. We're gonna hear both. Good. So let's review. I want to keep this very short. So what we've done was we went to our index.php and created 2 divisions under the top division. So initially we had the top division, but within that we now subdivided it. We have the title and then the image, and for the title we just give it whatever title we want to have there and then close that div. And then for the image we we included an image source. So by default, the image source is the unmuted speaker.png, and then we have an onClick event. When this event is clicked, when this image is clicked, all right, so we don't need this value anymore. We use this for testing, but we don't need it anymore because we actually have an image we can click on. And then so we have the onClick event, and when we click that, we go to JavaScript and we run that. So when this is clicked, toggle speaker is clicked, this function is invoked. We check if toggle is true. If it is true, then the speaker is unmuted, else the speaker is muted. And then we also toggle this boolean from true to false. All right, so we can use similar logic as we did earlier on. Instead of having here to be true and then false and true, we can just come outside the function and just say that muted is not muted. We can do this. Is not muted. So you can do that if this works for you. So I'm gonna mute this too. I'm gonna comment those two out. So any changes we make, we just make sure that we save that. So this is a little bit smoother. You have your the function written only once, so it toggles between true and false, and so on and so forth. Sound, let's count it. Sound 2, okay, muted 2. Alright, it works in both ways. Alright, thanks for sticking around to the end. That'll be it from us today. Please, if you have not subscribed, do so right now, and don't forget to like and share this video. Until we come your way again with more contents, stay enthused.